we're all gathering for the amazing event to showcase the life of Judah. And we're going to be talking about how Judah was interrupted as he was building a legacy in the community and making sure that the next generation had somewhere to go and something positive to look forward to. And then he was rudely interrupted when the police mistaken him for someone else and tasered him. This wasn't the first time he was harassed or the second time he was harassed. It was actually the third time they had mistaken him for the same person. We will be looking at that tonight and going back and seeing what training the police will need to do going forward. We're also going to have a Q&A with the panel, and we're going to have Judah on there and a few of our esteemed members. Some of them traveled as far as Bristol and the Isle of Man to come and view this. So we're going to have a question and answers so people could hear from Judah himself of the effects and how he feels and how he overcame the tragic trauma, what he went through.
I remember when I was small thinking, by the time I'm the age I am now, things will be so much different, but it doesn't feel that way when you hear about cases like this, and it just reminds you of how big the challenge is.
How have we moved on? What have we done to address it? What have the police done to address it?
Saw the whole thing.
It's impossible for me to speak about this without getting upset. I survived a taser attack, which discharged something in the region of 50,000 volts of electricity into my face. The taser was shot by members of the local police, Avon and Somerset constabulary. I was manhandled by the police while trying to enter into my own property. The taser was discharged without warning. This matter goes way deeper than you'd imagine. It's not a one-off incident. It's part of a saga which is ongoing. I am fortunate to be alive. You see, when that taser hit me, I felt my head fried. I know that many of you may have watched American movies, so to speak, when people have gone through the electric chair. You see that terrible sound that you hear coming through, that's what was going through my head. My head was fried. So I'm fortunate to be alive. The police would have you believing that the taser is not lethal. But rest assured, it has cost many lives around the world, and in particular in America. It happened to that the young footballer up in the Midlands. I, Judah, personally, I am fortunate to be alive, because if it wasn't without my God, I would not be standing here or sitting here. It's only someone who has gone close to death can explain the feeling I'm going through. The effect of the taser, I try to explain in many respects. It's difficult. You see, I suffer a mini stroke. I've suffered almost the loss of my eyes. My speech, as you can tell from maybe my delivery today, it's been impaired. My hearing is similar. Yes, I'm paying some sacrifice, and this is nothing compared to having my life back. I will not do 65 blast with taser, man. This always caused me a problem. Sorry, we need to take back again. I had some problem here. If I do not make people aware of my story, I will be supporting these injustices.
Can you imagine your grandfather, relaxed and happy, talking to his neighbours, then having his peace shattered by the police, who wrongly accused him of being a never?
Are you Royston McCalla?
While all is recorded on a neighbour's phone.
I will always pay credit to Tom Cherry for using his smartphone on that day, because who knows how that situation may have developed.
The footage is uploaded to YouTube, which causes a media frenzy, as it shows an elder being tasered in the face, which is so outrageous it's crazy. Some people claim that he should have just done as he was told and given his name. He is within his rights to refuse without any accusations being made or appointed blame.
I knew I was legally entitled not to give my name.
I'm aware some people might say Judah's a bit stubborn, difficult to understand. I have to say those are not my experiences. And like so many Rastaman, has a very keen sense of justice. And so I fully understand how he reacted on the day they tasered him. He knows his rights. He didn't have to give his name. He hadn't been arrested. And the law of the country says you do not have to give your name unless you have been arrested. And it was to me so ironic that he should eventually be tasered by two people on the beat who really should have known their community better and should have known Judah.
Are you Royston McCalla? The same thing all over again.
It's extraordinary how he was treated after actually sacrificing a lot of his own reputation to a very difficult area. In my experience, he was never an informer, but he made sure the police listened to him. We need more people like that, even more.
That morning before I went out to take my bodyguard Hazel for a walk, I did put a plant in my oven. That would have gave me enough time to go for a walk and come back home. Feed her planting for breakfast, and then have my breakfast. Unfortunately, that day, things didn't work out to plan.
I live a long way from Bristol now. I live in the south of France. And I just happened to pick up on our satellite TV, HTV, one night.
Yeah, I've known it for long.
And I suddenly saw this video from Tom Cherry, a neighbour of Judah, and all credit to him, of what happened to Judah on the day he was tasered. I must say I was really shocked to see it. We immediately connected via Facebook, and I had a long chat with him that evening. Apart from being shocked, I was terribly impressed with Hazel. Hazel was Judah's pit bull, who I knew rather well. Several times I walked with Judah with him on the railway line in Easton. And a gorgeous pit bull. I'm a dog lover, and I just watched this pit bull keeping so calm, like a peaceful Rasta would, in the sight of his master being treated appallingly by the police. And I thought, that's Hazel. I had a Rottweiler called Ivan the Terrible, and he was a wonderful Rottweiler. But I can tell you, if I was walking and the police came up to me and treated me like they treated Judah, he would have eaten them up.
I honestly don't believe that we will ever find another dog like her.
You're going to call me. Your sergeant is going to cut on the taser me for whatever reason.
Yeah, you got keys. You got keys in your hand.
He's going to his house. That's his house there. He's got his keys in his. Don't fucking take that as a threat. Seriously. I got my keys in my pocket. Yeah, he's one of my neighbours. He's a lovely guy. He's the kind of person we want around here, friendly neighbours.
They force their way through, so that's breaking and entering for a start, no warrant, anything like that, and then they just tasered it.
You understand, man? You're driving on your way and you come back and tormenting me. Because you're a fucking racist. You are a You are not doing your job.
Oi!
Listen.
He's just trying to get into his house.
What's the way?
Leave him alone. Yeah, he just grabbed him. Oi! That was totally unnecessary. Totally uncalled for and unnecessary. So out of order.
I've been mad out here.
My neighbor Tom and one of my other neighbor, her name is Branwyn Shut.
What you doing? What you doing?
Wankers.
Take my ID and look at my fucking ID. Why are you refusing to look at my ID? Why are you refusing to look at my ID?
While I was on the ground, the same officer who had shot me in my face with the taser, she knelt over in my stomach, poking the taser into my stomach like that. And the look of strength I had, I said to her, "Are you going to taser me?"
In my belly as well.
Go ahead. I had no physical strength to even stop her or even try to stop her.
I understand from Superintendent Bennett that Royston and Judah look nothing like each other.
He made a mistake.
The way they treat our elders is a disgrace. And this time I think they've overstepped the plate when they tased a candidate who orchestrates the liaisons and affairs relating to race in his face.
Justice isn't asking for excess. It's just asking to be allowed to be normal, to walk, eat, sleep, to go about day-to-day activities without interruption, without challenge, without imposition, without solitude.
If I was a selfish man, I could have sit back and probably compromise with them with some money and those sort of stuff. But this is more important than money. We're talking about black people's life, their livelihood. I'm saying so many of us, as I mentioned previously, had been either sentenced innocently or killed innocently. The object of the police force when I was a boy growing up is to give black youngsters a criminal record.
Up until they knew that the video existed, he was still being done for assault. Then they heard this video existed, that assault charge was then dropped. Well, the amount of times that they've done much more brutal things to our children. But they won't believe the children because they're children against adults. If they can do this to an elder, you must recognise that they're doing it to our children at the same time. So that was part of the main thing for me wanting to get involved. Plus, I don't like the police anymore. Yeah, so I'll just make that right clear right now. I don't like the police. I really don't like Avon and Somerset police. Because I've seen so much that they've done wrong to my community. They strip searched my best friend, 11 years old, in the middle of the street when we were coming home from ice skating. Yeah, but they strip searched him in the middle of the road. Right, I could tell you so many stories, but it's not about that. So that's why I got involved, because I've had a long, my whole community has had this long-term persecution underneath Avon and Somerset police. And at a certain point, they might bring somebody in to try and fight the fire. Could you come and help us with this problem? You're the problem. So when they brought you in for a moment, then they let you go. And they carried on the same way. But they're acting to address their problem. But the problem is them.
We all come to the cinema, we watch the mainstream big blockbusters, but do we come to the cinema to watch a film about an elder who's been attacked by his local police? The likelihood we probably don't, because it doesn't have the same level of heightened immersive effect that some of the Hollywood films do. So it's about approaching it that way, but also approaching the story in a way that linked the human story, so linked one character's journey through historical events, through the 70s, 80s and 90s, but also through the ages, and being able to create something that's educational, not just Judah's story, not just the tasering, but also the wider story around protesting and campaigning and activism, and using storytelling as a way of telling a story that's rich, deeply told, and richly told through the eyes of a grandfather.
It could be any one of our families. And we must give thanks for the blessing that Judah has been spared to be with us today, for all of us to gather here tonight. And again, sometimes showing support to people that have gone through trauma is the only way that they could find healing. Financial cannot get you back to the place you need to be when your spirit's been broken. And I want to also say thanks as well to Lawrence for all the support and everything that you've done to get Judah back to 99%. We're still one off. And also for Bash as well, for making sure that we got to that place where we could feel what Judah was feeling within that time. And excellent execution on your behalf on that.
Yeah, I think the only way healing can happen is by being honest with storytelling and undoing misinformation, and I think that's where we get lost, is in misinformation. When we watch the media and we read stuff on social media, we challenge the truth because we're confused. And for me, filmmaking is about undoing the misinformation. And the answer to your question, what was the challenge to make the story? It's about undoing the misinformation, undoing the doubt that some of the public had around whether Judah was in the right or whether he triggered the incident.
And I want to once again say thank you for Kush Productions for coming together and rounding up the community in London to raise awareness. Many of us had seen the video in London, but we didn't know the backstory. And again, thank you to Marlon that couldn't be here today in Jamaica, but making sure that the message